Hey everybody, how you doing? Today what we're going to be going over is a little bit of ASMR for you. Is what I would be saying if we didn't have some fucking awesome games to talk about. So guys, PalWorld, how you liking it? I'm fucking loving it. It's amazing. And that is what I'm going to be talking about here. Top 10 reasons why PalWorld is amazing, phenomenal, sexy, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. One of those will be in the title. But, yeah, I mean, 2024 was a little boring. I know Suicide Squad just came out. Not really caring about that too much. But PalWorld, wow. I mean, came out of the blue, came out of nowhere, left field, and it has just taken over. 19 million copies sold. We got 7 million players on Xbox, 10 million on Steam. Maybe it'll come out on PlayStation. Probably won't come out on Nintendo for obvious reasons. But anyway, let's get into it. As usual, when I do top 10 reason videos, these are in no particular order whatsoever. These are just, in general, the top 10 reasons that people are talking about, my personal opinion, whatever. And I'm going to try not to make this video an hour long, even though I want to, because I just want to keep talking about PalWorld. It's fucking amazing. Anyway, first thing let's talk about is the combat in the game, which could potentially, you could argue that it resembles Zelda. Newsflash, I never played Zelda. You can crucify me if you want. I never owned any Nintendo products other than GameCube. I'm sure Zelda did come out on GameCube, but I was just caring about playing Smash Bros. And Mario Party and Custom Robo and Madden. Probably some other games on there, but I did have a Game Boy Advance. I had a Game Boy Color. I had a Nintendo DS, but other than that, that's about it. And I played Pokemon on those, Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most part. But yeah, the combat in PalWorld is very, very good. Regardless of the amount of weapons you can have, guns, crossbows. If you don't want to shoot anything, you can just get on your Pokemon and use their own abilities. The options are limitless, really. Right now I am using, until I get enough ammo, I am using just the crossbow. When I made my first gun, which was the it wasn't the makeshift gun, because the makeshift gun is before the first actual handgun. Because makeshift gun uses coarse bullets because it's not an actual gun; it's like a imitation of an actual handgun. But it was the musket is the first one, and while the musket does a lot of damage, the reload speed of the musket almost feels like triple of the crossbow. So I'm just going to stick with the crossbow. A lot easier to make arrows. If you have lilies and a ranch in your base, you can just farm arrows, and your pals will just put it in the box next to you. Newsflash also, if you have lilies in the ranch, 2 or 3, they can also dig up organs for you, mainly flame organs. Then they can also get you some megaspheres. Very rarely will they do megaspheres, but usually 15-30 minutes goes by, you come back to the base, and there's just going to be a pile of PalSpheres, normal ones, just laying everywhere. So I really have been finding myself not really needing to make those. And now that I have a PalSphere assembly line, I've just been, not even making mega ones. I've been doing Giga and Hyper, and that's been working out really nicely. But I'm really surprised how good the combat in this game. Riding my pals is what I started doing and using their moves. But one thing I've learned is I am not that good at hitting my shots in this game compared to other games like, Call of Duty or Halo or whatever. So what I'll usually do is just hide behind my pal, especially if I have a big one. Let's see. if I have a big pal like for example King Paka, I'll usually hide behind him, and he'll just fuck him up. And like I watched him literally shoot someone with one of those like sphere blasts from. I mean, it must have been like 200 yards away or something, and it was like, okay, and that's when I realized I'm not gonna be, manually using my Pokemon ever again. I just said it, Pokemon, pal, it's pal. I do that multiple times. I keep calling them Pokemon. Anyway, another thing is that the pals can learn moves on their own. A lot of times I'll just watch my dude shoot off something I've never seen before, and it's like, I didn't put that on you. But what they do, and this is really smart coding by PalWorld, is I don't even know the name of the game dev. It's like you go on their Twitter and it's just called PalWorld. They don't even put their I guess they don't even have a Twitter account for their company. But I mean they're a really humble company. To start off, and I've actually checked out some of the games that they made before PalWorld, and they're actually quite impressive. Each one is like in a different genre. One of them does look like PalWorld without the pals, just like a normal RPG. And then they have another game where it's like it kind of, let's see here. Oh, load. You guys wouldn't know what loaded is. You guys are too old or too young for that. That's a PS1 game. But it's where the camera sits atop the screen, kind of a little bit like League of Legends, but not graphically advanced like that. Kind of like 2D, and you have cards in your hand, and with each card that you play, you get to do a move or whatever. So that's another game that they made. And then they had a side scroller game, and then they had something else that was something similar to like Persona, but they're all over the place. This is not their first ride around the block. They have made multiple games before, and they've seemed pretty successful. And it's no surprise considering how great this game is. But yeah, the combat is phenomenal. Number two is the building in this game is. The things that I've seen people make, I mean, I don't have the patience for this. I don't have many survival building games in my portfolio. I tried Rust. I tried Valheim. I just, couldn't get on board with it in these games. I never tried Ark. But this game, whatever it may be, it must be the pals. I don't know. I love everything about this game. The building is just so easy to do. I'm playing on Xbox. I'm playing with a controller. If you know me, I can't do the whole mouse and keyboard thing. I got fat hands, short fingers, and my hands just like my left hand on the keyboard cramps up after a while, and I can't. I can play 24 hours on a controller. I can only play like 1 hour on keyboard and mouse. It just doesn't feel natural to me. More power to you guys. I know the game runs better on PC, but I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm on Xbox. I'm having the time of my life on Xbox. Is it running at 60 FPS? Not really. It does fluently. Is that the word? Run 60 FPS in dungeons quite well. And 60 FPS in the towers as well. But yeah, I mean, other than the normal stuff, the game crashes once in a while, but it saves when it crashes, so that's not really a complaint. I've been having the time of my life. So yeah, I mean, you can build, the decorations that you can build. Obviously the normal stuff, like you need your lodge and the stone pit and your egg incubators and stuff. The building is just phenomenal. Even on controller, the D-pad is your best friend. You can go RB, LB through everything that you can build. And obviously they're probably gonna give you a little bit more room to build. That's probably, I mean, it's partially my fault because I didn't really pick the best spot to build my base, because you have those structures that are already pre-built into the game, and you can't destroy them, unfortunately. But yeah, that's my fault for picking that spot. But my second base, my buddy built. My third base, I'm gonna build probably on the beach or on top of a mountain. The beach is probably the best bet because it has sulfur, coal, iron, good spawns, and you just you have a flat surface and just I mean it's just your best bet. Number 3 is the world. I mean, the map is phenomenal. You see all the different fast travel areas. Getting around the map is not hard whatsoever. The only annoying thing probably is when you're flying on a Nightwing or whatever, and the stamina's going down, and your bird drops or whatever. Thankfully, they don't take fall damage. But they could be. I know you can mess with the settings and the server and everything. The developer really lets you do whatever you want. If you don't want to take damage when you fall, if you want to have unlimited stamina, you can do that. Same thing with your pals. If you want them to have unlimited stamina, you can. I didn't really mess too much with them just because I want to have a natural experience with the game. I want the game to be how the developer wants me to experience the game. And I've been just having an awesome time. The stamina depletion, it hasn't really annoyed me too much. I get to wherever I want to go from point A to point B pretty fast. But the map is beautiful. The biomes, the grassy plains, and then you can go over to the Arctic. You can go over to the molten lava area. You've got the desert, the beach. And then you have another area with it. How do I want to describe it? Like a bunch of old buildings everywhere and stuff. So I mean, they really thought out the world, and it's a big world too. It does take you a while to get because when you start the game, for anyone that hasn't played the game yet, the whole map is black basically, and everywhere you go. If you haven't been there yet, it gets rid of the black on the map, and that's how you do it. And I like that. I think that's a really cool idea. I don't like how, I think it'd be better for a lot of single player games when they come out, especially open world games. If when you look at the map, it's black and you don't know where to go, and your job is to just explore freely to uncover the map. And I think that's a really cool idea. Number 4 is the UI. Now, obviously, this game was optimized more for PC than Xbox. You can just tell by opening up the tabs and seeing what's going on. There's certain things that you can do on PC that you can't do on Xbox. Like on Xbox, you cannot change the names of your pals. That's the first thing that comes to mind. There's a couple other things. I mean, most of the stuff you can do on both platforms, but like obviously going through your inventory and dragging things in and out, that's faster to do on PC. But they still did a really good job on Xbox, and I know that they're working on different things to make the experience more comparable on Xbox compared to PC. But yeah, I mean, the UI is beautiful, very easy to maneuver through everything. Everything's labeled, properly. Very easy to see the abilities and the moves that my pals have. Very easy to look at my stats, edit my stats. You can reset them. No complaints, really. I have no complaints at all about the UI. Number 5. And this goes hand in hand with the UI. This is a very noob-friendly game. When it comes to single-player games, I am not the best. Never will claim to be the best. Probably closer to the worst single-player gamer out there. When it comes to games, like I think the first one that comes to mind is like Spyro 3. Was it Spyro 3? I think it was Spyro 3. I got stuck on that because I couldn't figure out, what, like, it was, I forget what it was. It was like, if you guys have played the third Spyro, you know what I'm talking about. where you have to, there's these guys, these pals, if you will, that you have to rescue, and then they help you fight bosses later down the road. And I couldn't figure out how to get to the penguin dude and everything. And anyway, the whole point is that I get stuck in video games quite frequently, and I have to go on YouTube to figure out, hey, what do I do next? How do I complete this mission? It's telling me to do this, but I don't see what the hell the thing is. That has not happened in PalWorld, and that's really surprising because when I played Valheim, that was my whole entire experience, was getting stuck because I didn't know what to do. It told me to go here, and then after that there was nothing. There was no other tutorial, and I was just like, do I go around killing shit? Do I need to build a base? What the hell did I do? There just didn't seem like there was really an objective in Valheim, whereas in PalWorld, I'm level 35-ish right now, and I still have objectives to do. There's still, you go to the first thing that you build, which is like the your base menu, and it tells you, okay, you need to build this, then you need to build this, then this, then this. And it's still telling me, at level 35, it is still telling me what to build, and it's very helpful. Same thing with the technology tab. When you open it up, it says, okay, here's what you get at level 1. At level 2, you get this, level 3, level 4. And it gives you goals to work towards, and you're motivated to get all the way down to level 50 so you can get, freaking rocket launchers, and so you can get the rocket launcher that you can put the spheres in, that when you shoot it, it locks on to pals that you can catch so you don't have to aim it. And then there's that really fast Pokemon that you can ride, and that's a level 50 boss. So the game just does a really good job at like, they're not holding your hand, because you can go into a dungeon, and then you can go into a gym battle, come back to your base. You can farm iron ore for 10 hours straight if you want to, and then you can go catch Pokemon pals for 2 hours straight if you want to. The game is not restrictive at all. Like most games, when it has a tutorial, you can't invite your friends and they can't invite you to play. You guys can't play with each other until you complete the tutorial, which I think is really retarded. But in this game, PalWorld, you can right away invite your friend to play, and boom, you guys can complete the tutorial together, because the tutorial is not tied to... You can never complete the tutorial if you don't want to, And the tutorial does a really nice job. It's just a little part in the top right hand of your screen. You can follow it, you cannot follow it. And it's just, it's amazing. It's just amazing how they designed this game. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. It's just awesome. You know what you get when you defeated a boss. If you defeat a dungeon boss, you get the ancient civilization parts. And then you know where to go to get technology points and all that, and it's just really easy to play this game. Number 6 for me would be the boss fights, the dungeons, the bosses that you find in the wild, the towers. They're all phenomenal. You go into the dungeon. The dungeon in this game's, wow. It's amazing. I know people are complaining how there's dead ends and stuff. But it's like, hello, that's what a dungeon is. Have you ever played Diablo? Have you ever played Minecraft Dungeons? Have you ever played World of Warcraft? That's what a dungeon is. There are parts of the dungeon that there are going to be dead ends, but each room has something in it. Like, I see people going into, when I'm watching, streamers or YouTubers play this game, it is fun. It is just crazy to me how much they're just not paying attention to the game. Like, they're like, what is the point of me going into this room? Hello, it's right in front of you. Like, there's 2 big piles of, what are those things called? Fragments, PAL fragments that you can farm right there, and those big clumps that you can only find in dungeons, those are 40 stacks, I'm pretty sure. Whereas in the wild, it's only like 1 clump is like a 5 stack, So it's like, look around the room, okay? If you don't see any enemies in it, usually there's either a chest or there's stuff to farm in there, You can find sulfur in there, which is hard to find in the wild. And then there's the palladium fragment stacks in there, which you can get a lot of. Just look around, be a little aware, okay? And then you get to the boss, and you have the big boss, and like 2 or 3 mini versions of the boss. I think that's kind of cute. And then you kill the boss, and at the end, there's chests. There's 2 of them. One thing I will say is it is kind of frustrating a little bit, because me and my buddy went into a dungeon together, and he got mad. Well, he didn't really get mad at me, but he's like, "Hey, what the hell, man?" Because I took both chests, and he's like, "One of those was for me." And I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that this game made it to where, if he picks up that piece of wood on the ground, I can't pick it up too." Because a lot of games, at least most games that I play, the loot is shareable. Like in Destiny, the loot is shareable. But for whatever reason, they didn't do that in PalWorld. So I just got to take note of that whenever I'm playing with someone, is to share the loot. The wild bosses are cool. You have little pictures of them on the map. One thing I would recommend is if they could put the type, just like a little couple symbols on top of the icon, just like, hey, this is a dragon type, this is an ice type, whatever. Because it would suck if you fly or ride all the way there and you're not prepared with the types. But really cool in the wild. And it respawns too. The bosses respawn as well if you accidentally kill it, which is a good idea. And then you have the dungeons that aren't really dungeons. They're just that one room with the boss in it as well. The towers, which is basically like a gym battle when you have the trainer that is riding the PAL. Those are really cool. The boss has like 30,000 health, whatever. But really fun as well. And there was a glitch where you could catch them. I don't know if it's still in the game, but if you something about like you find police in the world, and you or you find a NPC that's by a campfire, you attack them, kill them, police will come towards you, you fast travel, police still follow you, you go to the tower, you go in the tower, they will follow you into the tower, and they will start attacking the boss, and then something like you can catch it. I don't know. I haven't tried it. But yeah, bosses are cool in the game. Number 7, I love the realism in this game. Hunger, injury, the way you're able to butcher your pals that you don't want, depression, sanity. These are really cool. It keeps you on your toes, where you'll come back to your base, and when your pal is incapacitated, but it's okay because another pal will grab them, throw them in the box, and 10 minutes and they'll be good as new. It really keeps you on your toes. It makes use of the medicine bench that you have to do. A really good pal for making medicine, by the way, is Elizabeth, who is like the big version of the bee pals. I forget what their name is, but Elizabeth. I got the big one, and I believe that she is a level 2 or level 3 medicine maker, so very helpful. Quick little thing, they did just release a big update for the game, which fixed, I don't think it really fixed the pathing, but it fixed it to where your pals would pick up something, drop it, pick it up, drop it, and they wouldn't, it was some kind of glitch with them, and they wouldn't bring it to the box that you have for, your wood or your stone or whatever. So they fixed that. I haven't seen them do that yet. If they go outside of the blue area, which is where your base is in, obviously you can build outside of that, but if you build like a lodging area outside of the blue line, your pals will not be able to get to it because the blue is the area that is designated for them. If they go out of it, they will despawn, respawn right at your PAL box. So that is the update that just came out. It's working very well. They also updated the game to have better stability. So that's good as well. So yeah, the realism in this game I like. I like how I have to eat. I like how I have to make sure that each base is self-sufficient, where you have your PAL feeder box and all that, and you have to make sure that you have the springs at your base. You have an advanced spring, regular spring, so your pals can take a break, relax, get your sanity back, and all that. So the whole entire system, I think, is really unique, very well made, especially the sanity part. And you have to pay attention to the passive abilities of the pals that you catch before you put in your base, because if you have a glutton, if you have a slacker, things are not going to go well, okay? Very good idea to have, it's just like in combat, you want to have ferocious, but in the base, you want to have a motivational leader. Just pay attention, look at them, and, go from there. Because a lot of times people are just like, I'll put you. It's like, no, pay attention, look at their stats. Okay, this guy, it's like the tortoise, the spiked tortoise that you get in the desert. They have level 3 mining. That's all they do is mine. But they fucking mine. Like when you just have regular miners, the thing is like this. Just to make one stone, it's like this. But when you have that tortoise by himself, it's like this. 1, 2. I'll go and mine some iron, come back, and I've got 1,000 stone. It's like crazy. Number 8, the animations. The animations in this game are phenomenal. If you make a video game, and there's going to be something in the game that your player has to do over and over and over again, whatever it is, make sure the animation is tolerable, pretty, whatever. Make sure it sounds good and all that stuff. And obviously I'm talking about throwing pal spheres in this game. The amount of pal spheres that I have thrown just at one dude to catch him is ridiculous. But it sounds pretty, it looks pretty, looks cool, and it doesn't annoy me. That's, there's so many games out there that I can say that, a noise that happens over and over again is annoying or whatever. But in this game, they did a really good job to mitigate that. Same thing with working. Whether it be you chopping down trees or farming stone, farming fragments, farming sulfur, coal, whatever it may be. For some reason, I don't get bored. I don't get bored farming stuff. I think the animation is cool, fun. You have your little bar at the bottom that tells you how close you are to being full on your weight. I just think they did a really good job of that. Number 9, the PAL workforce. I know I just talked a little bit about this, but the passives, the work abilities, the whole system, phenomenal job by them. It's crazy to me that it only took them 3 years to build it. If I had any, indication, it would be like 6 years. It took them 6 years to make this game. No, it only took them 3 years. That's crazy. I don't know how they did this in 3 years. This is the most expansive game preview game that I've ever played. If you could list one in the comment section that is a bigger release. The game's not even released yet. This is just a game preview, aka like a beta. This is huge, to other developers, this is a complete game. They would consider this a finished game. But this is obviously a live service game, and they're going to keep releasing stuff for it. The PAL workforce, very easy to figure out everything. I want a couple miners there, a couple lodgers there. I want someone to work on the fire there and everything. So it's all really easy. One thing I thought of is I really want to see someone that has a degree in, anything to do with houses, anything with the interiors or anything. I want to see what they would do with this in this game. I've seen some phenomenal stuff so far with the shelving and, just the customizability that they have added to this game. There's so many things in the builder menu that they didn't need to add to the game. So many things in the technology tab that you can unlock that they didn't need to be there, but they put them there because they want each person's base to be unique and stuff. I have seen so many different bases, and they all look different. It's just crazy. Just the imagination that they give the players so many different tools And all the player has to do is have a good imagination and put it to work. My imagination sucks. If you go to my base, you're like, that's the basicest bitch I've ever seen. But yeah, they've just done a phenomenal job giving us the tools to, make our bases look as unique as possible. Number 10, raids. The raids are awesome. Yeah, it's annoying sometimes when I'm trying to figure something out, and all of a sudden, dun 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 dun, and the raid starts happening. But I like raids, I really do. Obviously, they need to be worked on. So many times, the enemies that are coming towards the base, they get stuck, and yeah, it's free loot, right? It's free real estate for me, but it's always cool to see all these enemies coming and they just get fucked up by every pal in your base. And somehow the game doesn't lag for me. If you are going to predict a game to crash, I would feel like it'd be when your base is being raided. You have so many different animations, so many different attacks going off. It's 15 pals, well, 16 because I'm going to throw one out, versus 15 or 20 enemies coming, and it's always unique. It could be 2 huge Relaxosauruses. It could be the free pal alliance guys coming over. It could be random pals coming over to attack. The RNG is just a really cool factor when your base is getting raided. And you get stuff that you don't even have unlocked yet, like shotgun shells, different kinds of ammo. I've gotten like hyperspheres and stuff that I didn't even have unlocked yet. It really does keep the game very interesting. But yeah, those are the top 10, 31 minutes. Those are the top 10 reasons why I think this game is phenomenal. My closing thoughts basically on this game is it is a breath of fresh air. When you have so many game developers that are trying to compete with each other during the holidays and trying to release Call of Duty, that's when Halo usually comes out, is during the holidays, and whatever games come out during October, November, December. I really think that it's genius for a game developer to be like, you know what, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to wait until the war is over, and we're going to release our game in the middle of January, when pretty much by that time you have all the no-lifers have gone through all their holiday games already. Especially when people have time off, they're gonna go through those games really fast and get bored of them really fast. So it's a good idea to release the game in early February or middle of January, when people are starting to get bored and they don't really have anything to play. And that's another big reason why I think this game has become very successful. I don't think they did much marketing on it. A lot of it is word of mouth. People are talking about PalWorld everywhere. It's like Fortnite all over again. It's $30 on PC or Xbox, or it's free if you have the Game Pass. There's no microtransactions in this game, surprisingly. They've already released a roadmap of what they're going to be working on. They've made it clear that they are not going to add any content to the game until the big problems are fixed. That is the complete opposite of what a lot of horrible game developers do. The roadmap, they're going to be adding 2 different PvP to the game. You're going to have your traditional, like Rust PvP, where you can attack each other's bases. If they're going to make it to where we can steal each other's pals, I don't know, man. I don't know about that, Hopefully they're going to give us an option to turn that off or whatever, or just do our own thing, because I can see that going south really fast if, you get one of your pals stolen from you that you spent like 5 minutes on throwing 100 pal spheres at. That would be really frustrating. So yeah, that PvP mode is going to be coming. Another one is going to be the Pal Arena, which obviously is going to be traditional Pokemon, 6v6, whatever. They're going to be adding crossplay, so Steam can play with Xbox. And then a few other things that they added that I can't remember. Have to look at the roadmap again. Actually, I have the roadmap right here, now that I think about it. You know, and then they also came out with, I mean, the Redditors, the people that are already in the PalWorld Reddit, they've come out with some really nice things. You know, they have a chart showing which type is strong and weak against which one. We don't have a fighting type in this game yet, I noticed. I don't know why. And then they created a map showing, you know, which section is, you know, there's level 30 to 40 pals over here, 40 to 50, 35 to 50, and yada yada yada. But the roadmap is somewhere up my ass. Anyway, I can't find it. But they're going to be releasing a lot of cool stuff to this game. They're going to be releasing, obviously, more pals. They're going to be making the map bigger, you know, adding more stuff to the technology tab, probably, obviously. They're going to make it to where you can get to level 100 in this game. The sky's the limit, really. They're hiring more people. You know, I think the budget for this game was like $7 million or something like that. Which, you know, they're definitely going to be making money off of this game. They're not gonna be losing money off of it. The developers are very transparent. I mean, if you go to their Twitter right now and you see what they're, you know, talking about, I mean, they make like 2 or 3 posts a day just saying what they're working on and stuff. I mean, do you know how long it would take for you know, do you know how long it takes for the Call of Duty community, the Halo community, to get something out of 3 for 3, to get something out of Activision? A long time. It really does. These developers, I mean, are just phenomenal. And it really pisses me off when I go to the replies to some of their posts and people are like, hey, my game's crashing. Can you fix it? And you know, you guys are freaking... I mean, are you kidding me? These developers right here are a rarity. Very transparent devs, and it's so crazy to me how people don't understand what game preview means. Game preview is a preview of the game. The game isn't out yet. You know, you are basically playing a endless alpha or beta of the game until the game is released. You guys are the testers of the game, and they're working to fix whatever you find that's broken, you know? And people are getting mad at them because they're not... People are really entitled. Really entitled. Really, you can tell which people have been given everything in their life and haven't worked for anything. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I am absolutely in love with PalWorld. I don't know if I've loved a game as much as this since Halo. Since Halo 2 came out. I mean, this game is just... It's got everything. You know? I mean, I give it a 10 out of 10. I really do. I mean, it's just amazing. But one thing I do worry about... I don't think it's going to happen. But one thing I do worry about is... You know, if... I mean, we saw what happened when that guy came out with the mod that made it to where you're basically Ash Ketchum, and they turned the pals into the actual like closest version of Pokemon to them. Which in one day, Nintendo shut that shit down. You know, obviously, I think we can predict that they're not going to sue PalWorld. They're not going to do anything because they can't legally. The game has been in development for years. They've known about it. I mean, it's coming out of Japan, the same place Pokemon came out of. There's no fair use in Japan compared to the US and other countries. So if they did have any grounds to sue them, they would. But the only thing I worry about is that they are fattening up the pig and then they're going to slaughter it. But I don't think that's going to happen. But, you know, it's one fear on my mind because I really love this game and I would just hate to wake up one day and not be able to play and just see it all burn down. But I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm going to have faith that it will not happen. But anyways, Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something about PalWorld that you didn't know. If you haven't played PalWorld, please give it a chance. Give it 20 or 30 minutes of your time. You know, if it's not for you, understandable, no problem. But this game is really phenomenal, and I love it. I'm going to keep playing it. But until then, peace out. Sorry about the 40-minute vid. Yeah.